Florence, I had the best sex of my life. The best sex of my life. It was a 4-hour-long scene.
Whoa. You're listening to Fucks Given.
The one with Curvy Nyome.
Well, hello there, Reed.
Wow, what's his voice? Hello, Florence.
I don't know, maybe it's Halloween or something. Or it's been Halloween. Halloween was last week. Come on, we didn't even do a Halloween episode. We're slacking on the general holidays.
We are. We actually are. Like, but the thing is, what can you do with like a horror episode? Like spooky STI statistics. You know, it's just like, that's not helpful to promote what we talk about.
Yeah, we should have done like fucked up fantasies.
Yes, I feel like we've done that. Like, that's basically every episode.
Yeah, we do. We have like spooky sex stories.
Yeah.
But that's just
I
like
wish.
non-consensual and like a bit like,
Yeah.
whoa, all right.
And I bet most of the people that listen to it, they fucking love it or like want the same. Although we had a Sexfluencer meetup, and one of the lovely ladies there, Gigi, is a therapist, sex therapist, and she was talking about how people are obsessed with the Scream mask, like the Scream mask from the film Scream, and
Wow.
obsessed in a sexual arousal way, which I thought was fascinating because obviously I've always loved horror characters. I've loved Scream since I got given it at 16. You know, I was obsessed. I wanted them to fuck the shit out of me and kill me at the same time. And she was saying, which I thought was fascinating, if you have grown up with fear, especially if it revolved around your sex and masturbation, then that can lead into arousal and you can be turned on by fear. So if you had, you know, scary parents growing up, which a lot of us did, and I was definitely frightened of one of my parents, and it would kind of make a hell of a lot of sense. Same with, I was so afraid that my mum was going to come up into my room while I was masturbating because my bedroom was the attic, which was a shared space. So it makes so much sense. Like, that just being terrified and fear turns me on so much.
Yeah. Isn't it funny that we both were like attic children? Which was like easily accessible by people. We like never had any privacy.
Yeah, but yeah. Is that why we're so fucked up?
Because
Is
we
that
were
why?
banished to the attic.
It's not daddy issues anymore. It's like
The
no
attic.
privacy issues. The attic. We were attic children. Is that why
Actually,
we're so fucked up?
My attic was pretty bougie. It was like newly renovated, like had an ensuite bathroom. You know, like I was living the life up in my attic.
Yeah, that does sound good. Especially if you had like an ensuite shower. Mine was like, you know, when you see an attic in the movies and it's like an old woman's attic, that was my attic. Yeah. With like hoarders
this makes a
things
lot of sense for us.
covered. And it was terrifying. I had a lot of like bad dreams and nightmares and night terrors. And
well, this was quite a spooky start to this episode. So I guess we did a Halloween thing.
Ooh.
Yay. Ooh, I'm wearing orange.
Oh, I love it. So nice.
So have you had any crazy custom requests on OnlyFans recently? Or have you done anything crazy on OnlyFans in the last week?
I mean, done anything crazy on OnlyFans, because I feel like that's just my identity. That is just my OnlyFans account. We did some crazy stuff. Yeah, we've done some we've done some good hot stuff. But my most recent request for a custom was a vintage hand job.
What's a vintage hand job?
I don't know, but I can't wait to find out. Like, is it the style of hand job? Is it just like, you know, look like a Victorian fucking sickly person, like, or is it like dressed in vintage clothes? Am I wearing a vintage glove with vintage rings on it? Like what is a vintage hand job?
Or is it just like an old school hand job and they're just saying it in like a different way?
Maybe. Like old school, can I just have a bog standard hand job? But that sounds really boring. So can you give me a vintage hand job?
A vintage.
Please give me the vintage. Yeah, I've got no idea. So, you know, to be continued. I'll let you know if I get more clarification.
Wow, that is interesting. Cool. Nice one. I like that.
Nice.
Great. The weirdest thing that I did for OnlyFans, so I was in Vegas this weekend. Vegas, baby.
Oh, Vegas, baby.
And you know what happens in Sin City doesn't stay in Sin City if you have an OnlyFans
Doesn't
account.
stay. Oh my god. Yeah, or if you have like a huge podcast, it's nothing kept secret ever.
Nothing's sacred.
No.
I did a little like striptease in front of my window, which was facing like a huge block of hotel rooms.
My Florence.
Yeah.
What an exhibitionist. I love this.
Yeah, we'll see if people enjoy that. I was like talking throughout the striptease as well, like telling everyone like how many rooms were facing me and like yeah, I thought it was cool actually. It was really fun. So yeah, that was my latest little escapade.
I love it. What about updates? Updates in the ether? Anything going on in your side, baby?
Something really hot happened the other day, actually. I met up with the guy that I'm dating and we were like making out in his car for ages, as we do, because we're fucking I don't know why we're like dating like teenagers. We haven't fucked yet.
You know why? You know why? It's because you both live with peeps.
Yeah.
It's just the revert. It's just you don't have any privacy.
There's no privacy, and also I've had guests here for 3 weeks, and so my life has been turned upside down. But anyway, we were making out in his car, and I was just about to go inside and leave, and he took the back of my hair, grabbed the back of my head, pushed me around so my face and body was like on the car. So he like pushed me into the car, and then he like came up behind me and like started whispering in my ear that he wanted me to go inside and like take some dirty photos for daddy. And he like put his hand like down my pants, started like fingering me, and was like, and I want you to finish yourself off thinking of daddy's cock like deep in your throat.
Fucking god, that's so hot. Daddy's gonna get it.
Yeah, and after that happened I was like, whoa. Like,
excuse me. Did you manage? Did it work? Did you come?
Yeah, I went inside, took some dirty photos for him, and came thinking about what he told me to think about.
Oh my god, that's so good. I love that.
Because I'm a good little girl.
Yeah, you are. Fucking hell. You should have been like, no, fuck you, and then go to spank your body.
Well, we had like a semi-argument, which, not an argument. I don't know. There's like a really interesting like kinky dynamic when you can like laugh at the fact that you got a bit crazy at each other and then turn it into a bit of like, well, why don't you punish me then?
Yes, there's great healing, and Jacob and I have done that exact thing where we've had a disagreement or someone's fucked up, and then it's been like, right, get the crop. And it's like, no, please. But it's really healing in a very weird way. It's like, yes, we've spoken about it, verbalized it, we're over that aspect, and now it's kind of like getting over it but making it playful in a physical way. That can be really fun. Of course, only if you are, I feel like if you're past it, you know, otherwise it could get difficult if you're with someone you feel super safe with.
Definitely. It's the start of a hot kinky dynamic, I feel.
I think someone's doing their homework.
Yeah, probably, yeah. What about you? What are your updates?
My updates. I've got a lot to tell you, but I'm going to try and keep it short and small. And it's also relating to what I've been getting up to on OnlyFans as well, because pretty much everything I do now is filmed and put up on OnlyFans, which
really?
is exciting.
So you don't have any privacy in your sex life?
No, we definitely do. But when we do a scene, if it's spontaneous fucking, but if it's like, oh, Jesus, let me just explain. So, Florence, I had the best sex of my life. The best sex of my life. It was a 4-hour-long scene.
Whoa.
With 2 hours of non-stop tickling at the beginning. And it was all filmed and all recorded.
2 hours of non-stop tickling?
Yeah, it was insane. It was like the biggest, bestest dream ever come true in my entire life. Because
just with Jacob, or was it with other people?
No, this time was just with Jacob. But this 4-hour scene was Jacob was like, I want you to get on something like really cute, really slutty. Like we really like the dress up. So he got dressed up and I got dressed up. And then he was taking photos of me and like positioning me and like making me go in these certain poses and getting me to stick my ass out and then getting me to be on hands and what's it called? Hands and floors? Hands and knees. Hands and knees. Yeah, right. Oh, no, what's that? What's the hands and fours? What am I thinking of?
Plank? Like, what are you thinking of?
Fuck, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I was
Tabletop position.
I was tabling all over the place, like
Yeah, hands and knees. On your hands and knees.
hands and knees. It must be that. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'm thinking of. And then tied me up and just went through my whole tickle kit, like every single item, and teased my body with it and tickled my body with it, and it built up and it ended up. It was just insane. And during this time, he was like teasing my pussy, and also, so we've gotten into this amazing place of doing this edging and denial with G-spot orgasms, because they're just popping off left, right, and center for me at the moment. Which, let me just say, I have not always been able to G-spot orgasm, and I still find clitoral orgasms extremely fucking hard. I don't know what's happened.
Yeah, that's crazy, because I feel like most people have it the other way around.
Yes, yeah. I don't know what it is and why, but and G-spot orgasms, like I only started getting maybe when I was like 27, the odd one.
Yeah.
And now I'm nearly 33 and I'm getting them all the fucking time. Like, it's amazing. Even just with dick penetration. So yeah, thank you 30s. This is like one amazing thing to look forward to in your older years, is being able to enjoy more pleasure. It's fucking amazing. Anyway, tease the shit out of me, like, I'm not joking, for like half an hour wouldn't let me come. It was insane. I thought I was gonna go insane. I was like, I was like getting bratty with him and like nasty, and I needed more, and I was getting so angry, especially because there was the threat of like the fucking electro knife. Shit went down. I don't know. It was all a motherfucking blur. And then we fucked, and this is all on camera. It was like,
whoa.
Oh, it was just everything. It was holding a wand. It was like being fucked at the same time. It was sucking dick, it was tickling at the same time. It was just everything. Oh god, yeah. And we've been playing around with him subbing for me, and I found that it's a very different space, although I feel like so bratty when I do it, because I'm like, you're just gonna get your revenge on me. And then he gets his revenge and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I never meant to.
Wow, that sounds insane.
It was pretty fucking insane. And we both were like, it was actually so sweet, because Jacob was like, that's the best sex I've ever had. And I was like, I think it's the best sex I've ever had too.
Oh, I love that for you both.
Yeah.
That sounds like
so
kinky,
lovely.
fucking fucked up heaven.
It was. You know, like sometimes the floodgates open, you just keep fucking. It was one of those where we just kept fucking. Oh, my poor neighbors though. Like, I am so. Every time I'm like screaming and wailing and like I'm like. Because I panic as well, and I'm like, Jacob, no, we're not playing this now. And he's like, you said no safe words, no. And I'm like, no. Like, I am screaming blue bloody murder, and my poor fucking neighbors, they must just be like, not again, because my bedroom is right below their living room, so they must be sitting there watching a movie, just like, can this bitch shut the fuck up, yo?
Have you told
the answer
them
is
that
no.
It's like always kinky sex? Like, do
I think they know.
I'm surprised that they haven't called the police.
I have said a couple of times to individuals, being like, I'm so sorry if we make too much noise downstairs. Just like drop me a message if it's too noisy. But no one said anything yet. Sorry, guys.
I mean, it's your house. You own it. You can do whatever the fuck you want in it.
Yeah.
We have such an exciting guest on today's episode, so we can talk about one of our favorite topics, which is censorship and Instagram sexy pics, freeing your body online. And that is the one, the only, Curvy Nyome.
Ooh, we cannot wait to get her on and chat about all the delicious things. So yeah, let's just get her on immediately, right now. Let's go.
Nyome, welcome to the podcast. You are such a legend.
Yay!
I have been seeing you all over my Instagram for years.
Oh,
I'm so excited to have you here.
thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. It's actually an honor. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
We're so excited to have you on the pod to talk about everything you know. And also, it's a day for celebration. You've just signed with
a new talent agency. My first talent agency, actually, which is exciting.
I
Very
love
exciting.
this. Okay,
Very,
imaginary
very.
cupcake with a candle. There we go.
Oh, thank you. And an early birthday present, so thanks.
Yay! Oh, and same to
Yes.
you, also Scorpio.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
our like a queer chat to start off the
Yes.
I
podcast.
love that.
Star
So, signs.
signs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
love
it's
that.
almost like it's a debate, right? It's like,
Hmm.
are Scorpios more private or less private?
Mm.
Because I am not a private person, but Naomi, you are a private person.
Yes, I'm incredibly private. Not to the point where it's like, okay, now what's going on with you? I mean, if you ask
Mm.
me, I will tell, but I don't like divulge as much information as I'm sure people would like on like social media because social
Ah.
media like to know what's going on in the ins and outs. I'm like, yeah, I'll give you a bit, but not too much, just enough.
Yes,
Yeah.
beautiful. Well, let's dive straight in and ask you if you have a fuck story for us. Mm.
Okay, so I don't have a fuck story. I mean, I have stories of fuck stories, but there's not one that I would be like, yeah, that I talk about because I've recently come out as gay. So, and obviously,
Yay! Congratulations,
thanks, thank
baby.
you.
Love.
So it's a bit of it's one where I'm trying to like find out like who I am, what I like all over again. Obviously, as I
Mm.
didn't know that, so I don't have a specific fuck story. But I have a lot of what the fuck ones, but I don't want to like call anyone out or say a
Yeah.
specific one because said person or people might know, and it's a bit awkward for
Was
them. So
was there a fuck that helped you realize your sexuality, that helped solidified who you were?
every single one with the opposite sex, every one with a man, and that's not
Oh
been sorry, that's so
shit.
cheeky. Everyone,
No,
and
that's
that's
not
not been for
No,
a
that isn't
while.
being cheeky, but that's great. Like every
So that
single one's like, okay,
yeah,
I think I'm
I think
gay.
this is yeah, I think I am, and this is not me. It's just
Yeah.
wild that I wasn't ready or able. I didn't feel ready to come out and just be
Mm.
myself and be who I am, and that's all like personal stuff. So
Yeah,
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 but I
wow.
also think that's so amazing to be able to normalize that and to normalize
Yes.
mm,
coming out at any point in your life
yeah.
and taking your time to like really realize what those
Mm.
feelings were. What would you say in those sexual experiences were the like, I don't know if this is right. Like what was going through your head in terms of that stuff?
So basically, me finding out who I was and I was doing or having sex with people that weren't fulfilling, but it was almost like
Mm.
okay, so this is how I should be. It's what I should be doing. But it's like, who said that? And there's something within me afterwards
Mm,
that was like, yeah, this is not right. Sometimes even like
Yeah.
like the
during,
ick.
but yeah, and it's sometimes it's that thing where it's like women and like you should say no and men should stop. I always felt uncomfortable to say, just from
Yeah.
my own personal like feelings. And when I did start having sex with women, I was like, yeah, this feels right. This is who I am. And I think more like on a deeper and emotional level, I feel like there's more of a connection for me personally when I'm having sex with a woman. So
Yeah.
and it's like I understand them, they understand me. Like there's like more care with like touches and
Mm.
all of that stuff. And just being like, just not just like going straight in and just like, okay, I've come now and you haven't. And what I
Yeah.
would
Oh.
previously have been like, you know, used to. So it was just that realization of, yeah, this is not right. This is not for me at all.
Yeah.
Seems more
Amazing.
equal. That's so exciting
Yeah.
because it's like you're like we don't give ourselves permission enough to reframe our sex lives. When we think about losing our virginity, that's always the first time you had a penis deep inside your vagina. And that isn't the first time that people want to remember, that lots of people want to remember. So we all have the ability to choose when the first time we actually had sex was, and we can reframe that all. It doesn't have to be what we were taught in as school. It can be the time that was the most exciting or emotional or pleasurable for us. That could be the first time we lose our virginity and fuck everything else.
I agree. I'm liberated, to be honest. So I think I'm at a point where I'm like working on myself, but also I'm very careful of like energy because I feel like I'm strong into like energy exchanges. And I feel like for me
Mm.
personally, I
Me
feel like,
too.
yeah, sex is something that anyone can do. But for me personally, it's like I need to feel a sort of connection to you. I'm not saying like we're
Yeah.
two like married off, but there needs to be some sort of understanding of each other's bodies and what each other need without maybe saying it. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's the
Mhm.
space I'm in right now, I think.
Yeah. I feel
Oh,
like
beautiful.
that's a very important realization that we all go through
Mm.
during like the later years of our actually, I don't know how old you are, but like once you like get into your 20s and you've done like that kind of initial like doing everything you thought you were supposed to do, you start getting to a point where you're like, okay, but like what do I actually want? And especially when
Yeah.
it comes to connecting with other people, because intimacy is such like a like crazy like connected like amazing energy
Personal
exchange,
journey.
yeah, personal
Yeah.
event that is like, okay, what do I actually want to bring into my life and what do
Sure.
I want to experience? And that's
Mm.
what's really amazing. Okay, so we kind of got straight into a very deep topic there, but
Mm.
I also wanted to touch on your journey and your career and let the curious fuckers know kind of who
Mm.
you are and what you're about, because you're just such a legend in the space when it comes to body
Thank you.
acceptance and
Mm.
like censorship on Instagram, and your story is just so incredible. Would you be able to share a little bit about how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, sure. I've always been like quite mouthy. I just kind of am like, okay, well, I don't like this thing, so I'm gonna just say something. I've always been that way,
Mm.
and I suffered with an eating disorder from the ages of 16
Mm.
to 21, and I always struggled with my weight. And I was like, okay, well, I wanted to be a fashion designer. That was like my dream. And someone said to me, no, why don't you like go and try and model? And I was like, no, I'm not small enough. This was just before
Mhm.
like plus size modeling had taken off. So I entered a competition with Simply Be, and I got down to the final 30, and it was a liberating experience because I then like discovered there weren't enough women who looked like me or anyone that I saw when I was growing up. So I was like, okay, let me really try and do this. So for like the next like 3 or 4 years, I applied to agencies, were in some really bad ones,
Mhm.
and some really, really bad ones. And now I'm like in this space, but what really catapulted my career was in 2020. I was censored because I posted an image um, that Alex Cameron and I had taken to kind of,
Yes.
express
Yeah.
body love and body equality. And I know for those who don't know, I wasn't like naked or anything. I was in cycling shorts, sat on a stool, my breasts were covered, and it was really like quite earthy and like ethereal, just to
It was
show,
such an amazing
thank you,
photograph. It was so
Mhm.
thank you.
beautiful, so artistic, and like, there was nothing like overtly sexual about this
Mm.
image in any kind of way.
I posted it on Instagram, and within like half a second, it was flagged for nudity, sexual, explicit content, and it just kept,
Solicitation.
yeah, basically, and it kept coming down every like second. So Alex was like, "I'm not having this." She posted it, and it kept being taken off hers. So we enlisted the help of Gina Martin. If you don't know Gina Martin, she's incredible, and I love her with
Mhm.
all my heart.
Mhm.
She made the upskirting law, took it
Yes,
to
Yes.
she did.
Parliament, and won
Amazing.
like the bad bitch she is. And we started a campaign, the hashtag called I Want to See Naomi, and
Yes.
we got a we got an open letter penned, and we sent it out to so many incredible people, and we got the attention of Adam Mossery, the CEO, and he emailed me directly and was like, "Oh, can we have a meeting?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So we had the meeting.
Cool.
Whoa.
I was like, I was like freaking out. I was like, okay, this is like the head of like Instagram, and I'm like, yeah, this is great, but also like, yeah, fuck. Um, and we had the
Terrifying.
meeting. It was scary. I was petrified. And he kind of was like, he apologized, and he said a lot of tech jargon that I didn't understand. And I simply said, an apology without change is manipulation. So
Mhm.
unless there's going to be change, and bodies like mine can stay up, especially when they're not being sexually suggestive, and even if they
Mhm.
were, who the fuck cares? But I
Yeah.
wasn't. And we went away. We were like, okay, this is good. Like 2 months later, he emailed and said, we've made some changes to our policies whereby now you can cover your breasts, but your hands have to be basically placed over your breasts and not cupping them. I know it's,
What? That's news to me. That would make a lot of sense. So, not cupping
yeah,
them,
hmm
but placed over.
yeah,
I
but
don't
this
know.
was the
I feel
thing,
like I need to put this rule to the test because I have had so many images of mine doing that
flagged.
removed.
Yeah, and the
Mhm.
thing is, it's very techie because what I explained, I have bigger breasts, so I'm gonna have to. There's a lot more to kind of cut than
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
letting them fall, letting
Mhm.
my girls be. But it
Yeah.
was a change that I think needs to happen, just
It's
because
still a very big change, big positive
it
change for
is.
some like fucking like CEO dude to
Hmm.
actually make that change. I
Do
mean,
the
you
thing.
made waves. Like, wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
tried. Did my best, babes.
You really did.
Oh,
What
thank you.
happened? What happened after that then? Your photos got allowed to be up on
Yeah.
Instagram,
Mhm.
and what kind of was the ripple effect of that decision by him?
My pictures were able to stay up. They put back all the ones that Alex had done, all the people that posted me, and people did direct message me and say, okay, my images are staying up now. And this happened for I think about a year, and now it's happening again in a different way.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So it's now people being shadow banned into the ether,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
which is now something that they Instagram claim isn't true when we know that it is.
Yes.
So
Why do they
It
claim it's not
it's
true?
also
It's so there.
But it's
it
also
is
true
there.
because they've even given us the ability to see it by checking your account status on
Yeah.
Instagram, and you can see the things that have been
Hmm.
flagged. And it's like,
Yeah.
we're not recommending your account to new followers, and you're like,
Mhm.
that's shadow banning.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just got that notification. I changed in my bio, I've written
Mhm.
sex educator and sex worker
Yeah.
activist, not even writing sex, I wrote SX,
Mm.
and that's been flagged. My bio has been flagged, and now my account's not
What?
being shown to followers. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's
The
actually
things that
so frustrating.
incredibly frustrating. It's like I started a new campaign with a friend of mine, Mary Morgan, called Bands Off Our
Mm.
Bodies. And we're trying to just look at
Yes.
how much of a kind of shit show the platform actually is, because Mary is a
Yeah.
slim white woman and
Hmm.
I'm a plus size black woman, and we're both flagged. So therefore the system is rigged against women and women's bodies. So
Yes. Yes.
this
Yeah.
is the
Oh,
thing.
what's the campaign? Is it a hashtag? How can
Yes.
we get involved? How can our
So
listeners
it's
get involved?
Yeah, of course. So the hashtag is hashtag bands of our bodies. We're on a little bit of a pause right now because we've literally poured so much energy into it, and we've kind of hit a
Yes.
stalemate with like there's not
Mhm.
been any, and obviously with everything that's happening in the world at present, all the publications we tried to put forward to, but Harper's Bazaar are amazing and they put one out. So we're gonna just keep trying to like push
Yeah.
for this kind of just for a change in their policy, for a conversation, just so they can understand that women's bodies not lewd or sexually inherently sexual. Like we're just being. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the platform
Mhm.
says for all people and all bodies. Well, that's double standard because we've shown that two completely different women are still being sexualized and our images are being
Yeah.
banned. So your platform is flawed.
And there's
Mhm.
also loads of sexually provocative content on
Mm,
Instagram that is allowed. Like Playboy
yeah.
has their whole
Hmm.
profile, they're
Yeah.
never flagged. You know, they put
Yeah.
very risky stuff up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not
Or
fair."
celebrities and well-known accounts where I'm like, it is so sexualized. I am literally
Yeah.
seeing your nipples. I don't understand how
Yeah.
this is not allowed, or this is allowed, and yet I put up
Hmm.
an image where you can see my true body in true form, and I'm talking about like my relationship with my body, and then that gets taken down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
It's
fair.
very
And
And
it's
frustrating.
also,
the
if we want to be sexy, like, let us be sexy.
Yeah. Allow
I
us to be
agree.
sexy, man.
Absolutely, but it's not also, I feel like when we put it up, it's automatically that it's for men. And if men don't
Yeah.
find
Yes.
your body attractive, that is ultimately what the issue is here. And it's like,
Hmm.
Yeah.
I do not exist for you for your consumption, and because you
Yeah.
don't find me sexually attractive, who the fuck cares? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Also, do you come up against this problem? I've repeatedly
mm,
been battling with this on my Instagram, where the engagement that I get, most likes, most comments,
mhm,
everything is always like lingerie, like more
Yeah.
nudity, more this. And
More
then if I post
sexualized.
anything like wholesome or like, just like anything that isn't that, then it won't
mhm,
get pushed out as much and it won't get as much engagement. So we're like,
yeah,
being pushed to put the riskier stuff up there that might get us
mm,
banned and our accounts taken down because
Hmm.
mm,
that's what gets engagement. But then
yeah.
it's like
When
this
there's,
weird scale.
Yeah,
it's
like
exactly
lose
the
lose
same.
battle.
It literally
Mm.
is the same. So they push, I feel like certain agendas for sure.
Yeah.
If there's anything positive, it won't be seen by anyone. I think.
Yeah. Very, very odd. How has being censored like affected your own relationship with your body?
I think because I used to censor myself so much, and
Hmm.
obviously I'm human, I still have days where I'm like, fucking hell, like your body is still a topic of conversation, and people are still like. The other day, I don't know if I went to, I won't say the brand, I went somewhere, and the receptionist, the male receptionist, was like, "Oh, Naomi, you put on weight," meaning like Naomi Campbell. Um, And I said, sorry, because I told him my name. And yeah, I said, you mustn't say that about people's weight. And he doubled down and was like, well, I used to be fat and I had diabetes and I had to like, change
Oh,
my whole like diet. And I was like, are you actually serious? And that,
unbelievable.
Whoa.
yeah, that usually people commenting won't bother me. Like, who the fuck are
Mhm.
you? Like, and if you're not feeding me, fucking me, or financing me, I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
it's irrelevant. But that took me off guard. Like, you're meant to be
Yeah,
like a receptionist. So that
Yeah.
did kind of it put a dampener on me, and I was like, wow, no,
of
like of all the things
course.
you've done, like you're a lovely human being. You put out a lot of goodness into the world. You have a lot of love to give, and the first thing that someone comments on is that when they don't know you.
Yeah. And also as a
So
joke as well. Like what
yeah,
I
but he
don't
was like
understand what
laughing,
they were trying to do.
and I was
Unfucking
like, wow, okay.
believable.
This is wild. So
Um,
it does take its toll to answer your question. And sometimes it does,
Yeah.
because again, I am human. I think people forget that just because I'm
yes.
very confident in my body, that some
Mm.
days, like that one last week, it did put a dampener on my spirit, and that's not the person I am.
This was
Yeah.
only last week.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
I just feel
Yeah.
yeah,
like the way that we all grew up was watching these size zero models, all the actors and
Mhm.
actresses on TV that everyone looked up to looked a certain
yeah,
way. And like, if we like it or not, that is ingrained in our psyches because that's
yeah.
what we grew up with. And we are the people now that are, making changes for the next generation.
Mm,
And like,
Yeah.
but I think people need to realize that we are all just human beings
mm-hmm,
struggling with our own bodies in the same way that everyone else is. And just
mm-hmm,
because we put messages out there saying, like, look, like, I love my body, I love my body, and like all this doesn't mean that that is our mindset all the time about
Like
ourselves,
100%
and
of the
that
time. Yeah.
words
mm,
still can really affect us.
Mhm.
And
yeah,
people just need to, I guess it's all like relearning, isn't it? And I just
mm.
don't think it can be done quick enough, to be honest. And
Agreed.
it's hard.
It
Yeah.
is.
It's, yeah. Especially like it being a touchy subject as well. It's just you don't know what somebody has gone through, especially throughout
Yeah,
their life. They could have had an eating disorder. I've definitely had serious issues around controlling food. Is
yeah,
and you're right. The obsession with size zero that we grew up with, we're seeing it all on magazines and
ooh,
absolute nightmare. And I still think that comes through to our dating now when we're dating, especially like I don't know if people are going to like this, but cis white men, I feel like generally speaking, are really on the skinny woman. Like
yeah,
they still have that really
yeah,
ingrained in their psyche of what they think's attractive or what is
yeah,
attractive and healthy. And
Yeah.
it's
yeah.
Kitty made a really good point where she was saying about weight and mental health and it relayed back to when I was really, really slim, but I was so
Mm,
mentally unwell, and someone could
yeah.
easily look at me and go, oh, that's more attractive than what I've had now or what I've had during other times in my life when I've actually been
Mm,
healthy and happy and enjoying what I like, not controlling my food. But
yeah,
yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one, really.
it
I don't want to
is.
like call out white dudes, but y'all need to stop fancying them fucking skinny models, guys. Like, we love thickness. Come on.
We just love real
Literally.
bodies. I think
Yeah.
people like real bodies once they get out of the fantasy world of what they
Mm,
see in porn.
In
And maybe it
porn.
is porn's fault in some kind of way as well,
yeah,
because
I
that's
think so a little
like
bit.
how, yeah, where our fantasies get
Yeah, it was
started.
always tiny waist, big boobs, just yeah, stick thick. And
Just
you know what? I
thin,
wonder if it's the
yeah.
fantasy of seeing big dick with small bodies. Is that like that's got to be part of the thing, right? Where it's like they're
I think
so
so.
slim that
Wait,
you're seeing it
yeah.
like pulverize through their
I
fucking
think,
uterus and into their belly.
oh
Yeah, how do I
gosh,
make my dick look bigger? That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
it
yeah.
bigger,
comes
That's it.
down
That's
probably.
to.
that's why
Yeah, of
loads
course it
of
does.
guys love tiny, tiny women. You know, like the
Yeah.
smaller the better because it makes them feel big and manly and powerful. And it's like, I'm
Mhm.
sorry, that isn't the reality. Like your
No,
dick
it's
isn't
not.
gonna be bigger in their hand. It might be the perception, sure, but
That
How
is a good point. How?
y- how the fuck do we change this? Do you think it's
Oh,
by, you know, telling our stories, putting images out there, like sharing real life bodies. And yeah, where do you think we should start?
You know what? I think oh my gosh, it literally takes everybody. I think everyone needs to kind of have the difficult conversations, especially with people in their lives that
Mm.
don't necessarily want to have them. And the difficult conversations and the challenging ones are the ones where real change happens. So it's like everyone jumping on board, even if they don't understand something, be able to be like, I don't understand this. Could you explain to me? And be willing
Yeah.
to.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? Because most people are very like selfish. Like, okay, it doesn't bother me, so why would I give a fuck? Do you know what I mean? I like who I like.
Yeah.
It's
Mm,
not going to bother me. I think that's the issue with society at large, that everyone's just very like self-centered. So I
yeah.
think it's, you know, speaking about it, like posting like your friends' images, if whatever they look like, especially if they're like plus size or they don't have the
Mhm.
conventional body. I think it's just reposting, posting, and just trying to change a narrative and drive a new narrative.
Yeah. I also think that people need to make effort to follow people that make them feel good about themselves
Mm,
Yeah.
instead of
Mhm.
bad. And I think a lot of
mm,
people on social media follow like aspirational accounts that aren't actually real, like real
Yeah.
aspirations. Or, you know, I guess it's like the whole reality TV culture as well, and like how
mm,
everyone got sucked into the Kardashians and their body
Mhm.
type.
We
mm.
find it easier to look at an account that we're obsessing over because we want to be like them than actually following an account that makes us feel really fucking good about ourselves.
Agreed, 100%.
We had this thing called the 30-day nude challenge a while ago,
Hmm.
and it was part of our how to help people feel better in their skin and better in their bodies. How, like, what does nudity mean to you? What's the importance and like the journey with being comfortable being nude in your eyes?
I think it takes time. I think it's acceptance of self, and that comes in like various ways.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Like how we view ourselves. It starts with how we view ourselves, because ultimately, like we're with ourselves throughout our whole lives. And I think once we kind of come to that acceptance, like being nude, that's how we came out of our mother's wombs. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
We were
Yeah.
naked. It's like the
It's our
Yeah.
universe,
truest
not the
form.
it is the world has kind of made us a bit tainted about like the nude body, and like, oh, it's disgusting, or like women's periods, like really, like
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I think it's it's about like normalizing all of that. That's what I think is important. I think for me, I've you know what, I never used to look in the mirror, and now I literally do.
Yes.
I like
Mhm.
talk to myself, I talk to my tummy, I talk to my tattoos, I talk to like every part of my body.
Yes.
And I think, say positive affirmations. Like I've got affirmations on my mirror, and I
Oh,
Amazing.
will say
amazing.
them to myself. Thank you every day. And it's something that I found difficult is sometimes when I don't feel good, is giving myself grace and being kind to myself when I don't feel good in those moments.
Mhm.
Like last week when that wanker said what was said to me, I struggled with that. And I really had to sit back and be like, okay, no, you've come this far. You've done really well. You're an amazing person. Don't let
Yeah.
one person's, view. And I had to really sit with myself and speak kindly. And
Yeah.
I think if we kind of put out more kindness into ourselves, I think that's an aid that will help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
We don't
What?
speak to ourselves kindly at all. We have that
No.
inner bitchy bully voice that we've had with us for all
Hmm.
these years, and we don't even notice it sometimes because that's just been so, it's just like breathing. But it's not
Mm,
until you actually listen to how you speak to yourself, and you would never speak to anyone else the way you speak to
yeah.
yourself because no one
Mm,
else knows. It's hidden away. Like even just
yeah.
like I'm trying to reframe how I say when I make a mistake and I'm like, oh, you stupid fucking idiot. And then I'm like, no, 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 wait. Like, even if I think
Yeah.
that's funny and I'm like, oh, but I'm just having a joke with myself. No, that's actually
Mm,
like making myself believe that I am a stupid fucking idiot rather than
yeah.
going like, oh, no, you just made a mistake. It's okay to make mistakes. People are human.
Mm,
Mistakes are okay. But it's so
Yeah.
hard to
absolutely.
change that voice. Same with
Yeah.
affirmations. They're so hard to do.
Yeah, and to keep saying them every day and believing it, especially when you
Yes.
don't. And it's like, okay, I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying this and it's not working. But then also with me, as soon as it starts working, I'm like, I'm good. And then
I'm
the
done.
inner
Never
voice,
need this.
yeah, I'm good. And then the voice comes back. I'm like, oh fuck. Okay, here we go again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the affirmations that you do say to yourself that really, really help?
They're not body related. They're more, kind of think of one now. Every day I'm making choices to become the best version of who I am. My past does not define me. I forgive myself.
Oh,
Mm.
Um,
love that.
there's a couple more that they've left my mind now. It's like as soon as those are
Yeah.
three that stick with me. And
Mhm.
I say every day I'm making choices that create a better me, and then I'll say I'm an empress, I'm a bad bee, and that
Yes.
will be something that I like say over and over again to myself. So they're like
Yes.
different ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's hard, isn't it? Like the first, I remember the first time that I tried doing an affirmation, it just felt so uncomfortable, like
Yeah.
coming out my
Hmm.
mouth. I was like, I don't want to say this. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
why? Like, it feels
Oh.
so cringe. It feels like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like what, it was just like this huge like barrier there.
Mm.
But yeah, once you start saying it, becomes like, it becomes really normal. I have these like
Yeah.
songs on my morning playlist on Spotify in the
Yes.
morning that have um like gratitude kind of songs that have like good affirmations in them, which really help. I think like listening to
Hmm.
other people say stuff sometimes can like
Mm.
help
Can help.
you verbalize it
Mm.
as well.
It's so
Oh, for sure.
interesting how we get the same feeling about saying something nice to ourselves, that cringe feeling, as we do
Mm.
when we look at ourselves in our past and old photos and we're like, oh my God, what was I thinking? And
Yeah.
it's that same feeling of like, oh, you look incredible and beautiful. And it's why do we get that same feeling on both of those negative levels? Like,
Mm.
why are we
Levels.
cringing so much on something that is so positive and valuable for us?
Mm.
And it's the same when we cringe at our old selves. That's us telling our that's us telling our past selves that we weren't good enough, that we didn't do a good job.
Mm.
That's also being mean to our past selves. Imagine if our future self now was looking back going like, you're a fucking idiot, I can't believe that's what you're
Yeah.
wearing. Like, that's an awful thought. We need to just be
Things to
so
say.
change that language to like, you know what, you
Mm.
did the best with what you've got, with the tools that you
Yeah.
got. You were doing your best. You look fucking
Mm.
amazing for that
Do
age.
you ever have the
Absolutely.
opposite of that and sometimes look back at your old photos and be like, oh, I looked so much better back then, or like
Yeah.
I was doing so much better back then, to how I feel
Mm.
now? That's something that I struggle with sometimes. It's like I'm
Mm.
never happy with the current me. I'm always like,
Mm.
ooh, what was like better about that time, even if it wasn't a good time in my life.
I used to, not anymore. I think
Mm.
because I kind of refer back because I have an elephant memory and elephants never forget. God, they're beautiful creatures. Anyway,
Yes.
I digress to how beautiful they are. Um,
Blessing
I
and a
just, I
curse.
literally, because I sometimes I'm like, why do you remember everything, Naomi? Like, um,
Please.
like I just don't wanna. But I will remember the space I was in when I look back, and it wasn't spaces that I was happy in. So it's I
Yeah.
will never ever compare this Naomi to that Naomi, because this
Mm.
Naomi actually got me to where I am now. So I'm actually like thankful and grateful for her. So
Yeah.
You're so right. You're so right. I look back at my past self and I'm just so sad for her. I'm so sad for
mm,
all of the mental health issues she was going with and all of that like critical voice and like how much I used to just beat myself up and destroy myself and the anxiety and the like
mm,
the drug dependence and oh, it was just awful looking at myself. I'm so sad for past me. I'm just like,
yeah.
okay, but you're right. I shouldn't pity my past self. My past self
Mm,
is the reason why I am the way that I am, and they got me here, but I never really think of it
absolutely.
like that. Thank you for that. That was nice.
You're welcome. Little gem for
Mm.
you, babes.
What would be your top 3 tips on accepting your body and just bringing a little bit more joy into your own life?
Accepting that this is your body, and whether you are like conscious of your body and whether you want to lose weight because of someone else or you think you're too big, the feeling that you have about your body won't change with the size of it. So just kind of accept who you are for who you
Yeah.
are. That's the first thing. Speak positively to yourself as much as you can. Like I always try to say, it's not always easy. Like, wow, my body's carried me through so much. It's not what it looks like.
Mm.
It's like I'm breathing, my heart is beating, and my body's carrying me. Like my brain, like everything, not just the physical, it's what my body does for me. So to remind yourself that of what your body does rather than how it looks.
Mm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think the third would just be to just fucking like just love yourself, like in spite of everything else. Just affirm as much, just affirm,
Yeah.
just until you
Yeah.
believe it. And even if you don't, like do it some more eventually it will
Yeah,
stick.
that's really, really amazing advice. I saw a
Mhm.
little
Thank
infographic
you.
on Instagram yesterday, I think, about making yourself like the love of your life and, like
Oh,
treating
love that.
yourself like you would someone that you like had in your life as a partner, but like, buy
Mm,
yourself flowers, take yourself out on a date, like watch a
yeah.
sunset and like, romanticize your time with yourself and with your own
Mm,
body. And yeah, I just thought that was a really amazing piece of advice, and I
that
love
is a
doing
good
things
piece of
like that.
advice. Yeah, I'm gonna take that.
Mm.
Romanticize
Mhm.
yourself. Yes, I like that, Florence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah. That's a
baths
good
and
one.
showers. I feel like that is romancing your own
Mm,
body. It's like giving yourself a nice,
absolutely.
like you're forced to look at yourself and you're
Mm,
like,
Mm,
cleaning yourself, and it's like a
yeah.
nice calming self-care moment.
yeah.
Put a mirror in front of it if you can. Like mirror
Even
yourself up.
even
Mm,
masturbation, like solo sex, like
Yes.
yes.
really taking the time to pleasure
Love
yourself.
that. I fucking love masturbating.
Mm.
Sorry. I'm like, I'm single, and it's like, no one is gonna fuck me as good as I fuck me. So unless you're like up there with it, unless like she is up there, then yeah, no.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. So to wrap up this
Mhm.
episode, we have some would you rather questions for you.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. So would you rather be completely covered in ink or only have two of the tattoos that you currently have?
Oh, covered in ink.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh my
All
gosh.
right.
Yeah, because my tattoos are,
Wait,
I wouldn't be able to pick two.
even your face?
Yes. But I love my
Uh,
tattoos way too much. Yeah.
yes.
Oh, I love that. I love the yes. It's just
The
yes.
dedication. Literally.
Do you have a favorite tattoo?
I have two. My chakras and the image of me. Someone illustrated a picture of me, and I got it illustrated as
Wow.
Venus,
Oh,
and
that's beautiful.
it's on my arm. It's me as Venus on me. So yeah, those two.
I love
Obsessed.
that.
I'm obsessed. I need
Thank
to see
you.
this. Would you rather not have partnered sex ever again or only be able to do it with your first ever sexual partner? Oof.
Can I say none? Can I veto?
Neither of
Oh
these.
God,
No, I think the whole point of
these
Would
are
You
all
Rather is you
awful.
have to choose one. It's the
Yeah,
rules.
Would I rather
really
have
bad.
non-partner sex again, or
That would
Oh,
be
God,
like,
they're both
I
awful.
feel
they're
like
both
that's really
disgusting?
awful, especially as like you've just come out and it's like you don't want to fuck your
No,
first ever
I
partner
wouldn't want
ever
it. It would
again.
be. I'd rather. Okay, see, these games confuse me. Would I rather? I'd rather not fuck my partner, no, my first
Yeah.
partner, gross. So it would be the other one. It would be
Yeah.
to not have.
Never have sex again. Oh, partnered sex
Yeah,
That's
again.
yeah, that's a horrible
Brutal.
one. I'm sorry, that was brutal.
it's okay.
That was brutal. Florence,
God,
please, wait, what would you go for, please?
What would
It's like
I
an
go
impossible.
for? Never
Yeah,
have
it's an
partner sex
impossible
again or
question.
have sex. Oh God.
that is
Yeah,
awful. That
that is an awful one.
fuck.
Um oh God, yeah, I really don't think I'd want to fuck my first partner ever again. But oh God, yeah, that's a really hard one.
Because I feel like I
Also, like,
would
what are they
die if
like
I didn't have
now?
partner
What are they
sex.
like?
Oh, what are they like? But what if, I
Literally.
mean, I think I would just have to, you'd have to suffer through the first person you
Yeah.
ever fucked.
Oh
Have to
gosh,
suffer
no.
through that.
But I know that I could
Oh,
have amazing solo sex with myself. So maybe I would choose, yeah, never have partnered sex again.
But you can
okay.
also have solo sex and still fuck this partner. This like first partner. Like you're not giving up the solo
Oh,
sex. It's just partnered sex.
Mm.
I know, but having sex with my first partner, gross. Like, nah.
No,
I
it's
couldn't do
not
it.
good. It's
I
not
couldn't do it.
good.
The next one is nipple clamps or anal beads.
Anal beads.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like my nipples touched. I don't, it just feels wild to me. So anal bead
Yeah.
me up any day.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah. It just
Huh.
feels a bit foreign.
That's,
Like, can you just stop, please? I like
yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
I love sucking on a titty, but don't do it to me.
Don't touch my area. Oh fuck.
Do you have really sensitive nipples?
Yeah, they're just,
Yeah.
as soon as it gets cold, they hurt. It's like glass being like,
Ooh.
they get really
Whoa.
sensitive. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
incredibly.
That makes sense.
Yeah, too
Okay, good
much.
call. Anal
Although,
beads all the way.
sensitive nipples to sensitive nipples, a really good tip is to have someone play with them over the top of fabric or clothing, but like
Mm,
it has to be the right type of fabric. So anything silky or like
Mhm.
really thin, tight material, and it
Mhm.
takes away that oversensitivity of like, get off my nipples, it's too much. It's like, but it has to be
Okay.
really gently done. That's been my lifesaver. It's just, yeah. And once you get into
Thank
that, it's
you.
like fucking orgasmic. But if you have really sensitive nipples, you will probably be
Yeah.
able to nipplegasm, but with the right technique.
Okay.
Also,
Noted.
maybe it
Look at
takes
me
the
learning
right
everything.
partner.
Thanks, Reed.
Yes. Yeah, practice by yourself. Oh.
Okay, and we have one more. Reed, do you want to say the last one?
Would you rather sub or dom? Or bottom or top?
Both. Definitely a switch. I'm definitely both. Can't say that I'm one or the
One or
other.
the
To be
other.
honest, I genuinely couldn't. But I like to be in control. But also, depending on the person, I like to be controlled. No, I can't. So
Yes.
both. I'm a switch.
Both.
Switch through and through.
Absolutely, forever.
Shit. We just broke the rules of would you rather, but that's okay. That's okay.
Sorry, I'm changing all the rules today.
Naomi, it has been such a pleasure to have you on the
Thank
podcast.
you.
You've been so vulnerable, shared so much wisdom, and I just think our listeners are truly going to love this episode. So
Oh,
thank you for sharing your wisdom
I
and your
hope
time
so.
with
Thank
us.
you. Mwah.
Yeah, it's been so incredible having you on the podcast. Everyone needs to check out Naomi's profile and the picture. I'm desperate to see this photo, the one that caused all the shenanigans and
The
controversy.
ruckus. Yeah.
And of course, where can our curious fuckers find you?
You can find me on at Curvy Naomi on all social media. So at Curvy Naomi on Instagram, at Curvy Naomi on TikTok. My TikTok needs work, so do not judge me. There are great videos on there, but I need the numbers. So follow me, run them up, people.
Yes.
But
Oh my
yeah,
God,
Curvy
I
Naomi.
feel that the same.
Yeah,
TikTok is
TikTok, man.
wild.
Yeah,
I like
it is
I know.
confusing.
it's a whole
It
new
is, but it's
world.
great.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you everyone for
Thank
listening.
you.
Please leave a rating and a review as always. And if you liked this episode, share it far and wide with all your friends and family.
Yes, of course, you can keep up to date with all of our stuff on social media, on Instagram at Come Curious, as well as our personal accounts, Reed Amber X and Florence Bark.
And until next time, see you next Thursday.
Also, follow our Patreon.
Oh yeah, I always forget that one. Right, bye.